I wanted to just give a couple of comments. I mean, I think he spoke extensively about the faith school issue. I think that is a very important issue. We shouldn't be segregating our children, compartmentalizing them, dividing them, ghettoizing them into 100 million communities. They are children with no religion. They are human beings. They need to have access to the advances in society, in science, to be able to swim, to be able to dance, to be able to sit next to boys, play with them. And I think it's important that we ensure that no child is relegated to a faith school where a lot of the teachings as well are inhuman, anti-girls, anti-women, and it's definitely very divisive, and it's a situation where I don't think anything positive can come out of it, and in fact it's a very negative thing, and we need to challenge the concept that faith schools are okay. The problem in Britain is because there are so many Catholic faith schools that there is this whole move that we need to be egalitarian, and since we've got this, let's have that. Well, and it's bizarre. Well, if there's honor killings in this community, well, why don't we have any? We should have some as well. I mean, because it's such a negative, disgusting, despicable thing, and the fact that rights and equality, which is something that's usually aspired to for the highest standards in society, is now basically equality for the lowest standards, the most regressive standards, and we shouldn't stand for it. The question you asked about polarizing society and the risk of alienating people, what I say is, in fact, we are needed to stop alienating people, because what happens is people are fed up with the political Islamic movement, and we're not going to allow the right wing to hijack a criticism of Islam and the political Islamic movement as a way of actually attacking Muslims, of attacking asylum seekers, of attacking the hordes of Islamic hordes, trying to Islamicize Europe. Rubbish. We're not going to allow them to do that. And in fact, the best protection for people who consider themselves Muslim in this society is to have people speaking in defense of the right to religion, but also in defense of the right to atheism and a criticism of religion, and a defense of secularism, because no matter what your beliefs, you are able to live and be and have rights under a secular system where religion is kept separate from the state and the educational system. And I think, in fact, we will find that there will be a space opening up for a lot of people who don't want to be boxed in a certain way. Of course, we're going to polarize society. That's how change takes place in society. There are battles that take place every day in society to advance society and defend civil rights and human rights. And we are polarizing this society on the side that defends people's rights and human rights. I think trade unions and other organizations have a very important role to play in combating Islamophobia. As a term, Islamophobia is a rubbish term. It's nonsensical. It makes no sense. You talk about homophobia, it's a phobia against human beings. That's why it's despicable. But to have a phobia against an ideology, well, I do have a phobia against many, many despicable ideologies, including religion, including racism, Nazism, and so on and so forth. And I think the problem, what's happened, is that the Islamic movement and its apologists, from the government to many pathetic left-wing groups in this country, have basically equated a criticism of Islam to a criticism and an attack of Muslim people, and that is not the case. It's a lie, it's a deception, and I think it's important that we make that very, very clear. You can be critical of female genital mutilation. You are not attacking women who are genitally mutilated, and I think there's a big distinction here, and I think it's important to constantly remind people. It has become part of mainstream dialogue. And what we say is very much not part of mainstream dialogue, but our organization is one step in attempting to make it part of mainstream dialogue. Who are we going to challenge? You're right, it's not just the Muslim Council of Britain, because the Muslim Council of Britain and the oxymoron of the Islamic Human Rights Commission and all of those parasitical self-appointed leaders and regressive organizations are feeding off from a larger movement, as its spokesman has already said, but also as a result of the appeasement and support that it's received from the British government, from policies of faith school to policies of compartmentalizing people, the policy of minoritism, the policy of cultural relativism, which makes all actions, all beliefs equal and equally valid, and so on and so forth, all help to create the situation that we're in today. And so it is a battle with all of them, and an attempt to bring the debate, put it in the right side, basically, right side up, and to begin with people and human beings and rights and values and freedoms. Use of communities, again, is exactly part of this whole process of dividing people into a million communities. One of our main messages is stop doing that. We're human beings. For how long do people have to be forever Muslims? You know, they've been here for generations. They're still Muslims. They're still minorities. You know, and there's this policy of minoritism that just never ends. And one of our important messages is that a defense of universal rights, a defense of people without any of these labels, is what we really need to move towards, and that's one of the things we're fighting for. Thank you.